Okay, we are live. Sunday Night Live. It is. Oh, let me get that. There we go. Okay, wonderful. Okay, we are live. It is March 22nd, and I am so excited to to be bringing you this series. My apologies, I'm still coughing, so I still may have to do that. um, Okay, let's see. If you are coming in here, please go ahead, hit the like, subscribe button, leave a comment. Let me know your thoughts about what we're talking about today, why you feel wired but tired, nervous system dysregulation. Before I get into tonight's episode, though, I want to give you the introduction because this came about last week when I was prepping for last week's show. And I decided to do the top seven health trends for 2026. And in doing so, I realized that I can't do each one of them justice by only having one episode. So last week was the summary episode of all 7 things that we're going to talk about, and I'm going to run through that here in a second. And now each subsequent week is going to be a deeper dive into each of those 7 trends. So you're going to want to stay tuned for this one. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, Lily. Hey, Goat Head Gardens. Thanks for coming in. Appreciate you being here. Always good to see new faces there in the chat. Thank you very much. So also, if you're coming in off of my page, Dr. Paula Ruffin, please jump on over to It's All About the Biology and give them a subscribe and a like. And then vice versa, if you're coming in over there, jump on over to Dr. Paula Ruffin and go ahead and give a subscribe on that side as well. I greatly appreciate it. So, love the learn goat head garden says, and thank you. I love to teach and I love having you all here because if you weren't here, I would be sitting here all by myself. So you are not new here. Ghetto Hippie. Oh my gosh. Ghetto Hippie keeps me apprised of all the crazy things in the wellness world. So I appreciate all the things you send me. Thank you so much. Okay. I have water. I have sparkling water. I've eaten dinner. I had a nap. I'm ready to go. I don't usually nap, but today was a napping day. It's a little gloomy out there. And so I always, when my body tells me I have to nap, I make sure that I nap. That's going to be one of the things that we'll talk about on nervous system regulation, because it's really all about respecting what your body's telling you when it's telling you. You have to listen to those signals. So yes, happy spring, everyone. I did a video also on the spring equinox, and just, this is the time that we start to think of how the flowers want to come up. Everything wants to emerge. And this is how our bodies are. And we're going to do a deep dive into that. So, hey, Amy's coming in over off of Facebook. So thank you so much. I appreciate you jumping in here. Hold on. I got to let the dog out, of course. I let him out 3 times in the past hour, but of course, as soon as I go live, he's got to go out again. And now it's warm enough, I can just leave the door open. Okay, so let's go to our intro. So just to give you an idea, when I started putting this research into the 7 health trends defining 2026, what we're going to talk about tonight, we're taking a deep dive into nervous system regulation. So that's trend number 1. The second trend is GLP-1 medications, so all the weight loss medications, and metabolic health, what that means for you. So if you're on them, what does that mean for your metabolic health? How can we help you regulate your health if you are on them? If you are not on them, you're curious about them, or you're just like, I don't want to be on those and I want to be able to do other things to lose weight. We're going to get into all that metabolic health issue next week. In 2 weeks, we're going to get into longevity and lifespan. So we're going to talk about real actual science versus biohacking trends. I have, I don't want to say I have strong opinions about biohacking. I'm not completely against biohacking. However, I don't like the term biohack. To me, that implies shortcuts. It implies that you are somehow circumventing and outsmarting nature. And really, if we just hold on to the basics for our lives, we can improve our longevity and our lifespan. Then the next topic is going to be women's hormone health. So you're going to want to grab all the women you know and tell them to come to that episode, because we're going to be talking about perimenopause, menopause, hormonal balance, why our bodies just seem to change suddenly and we don't even recognize ourselves anymore. That's going to be a huge one. You might want to tell your spouse also, your hubby or your partner, to join in, because sometimes men just don't understand what women go through. And because I'm going to talk about that, like we need to have we need to have compassionate partners as we go through that. The next topic we're going to talk about is food as medicine, how nutrition, gut health, and anti-inflammatory diets continue to shape the future of preventive healthcare. We'll talk about the different diets out there, what's good, what's bad, what's ugly, what's best for you. Then we're going to talk about stress, trauma, and emotional health. And this one is really key, because this is where we get into when people have chronic diseases, even like, cancers and other, really bad things like that, or just even like chronic migraines. It can be anything chronic. There's typically a very deep emotional component with it. And so we have to really look at traumas, what keeps us stuck and what keeps us sick. And then we're going to talk about personalized healthcare. And what is that? Again, that is this trend that people are really tired of a one-size-fits-all approach. And so that is where, especially functional medicine, that's why more people are seeking out functional medicine, so that they can find a doctor like myself, somebody who can help them actually curate exactly what's right for them. Listen to them, make sure that, again, it's not a one-size-fits-all approach, and that we can actually get people back to living their best lives. So, all right, so that's the series. And tonight is the deep dive into nervous system. So Lily says, I'm looking forward to the series. And bioenhancement. I think that's a better term too, ghetto hippie, for sure. Again, we can't outsmart. Remember the butter commercial? Maybe I should put that into my talk. Remember the butter commercial where I think it was when margarine was first making the scene back in the 80s. And it was, she was like, you can't fool Mother Nature, but they did, because with the margarine. So anyway, and she got mad, right? So that's kind of how I feel. I'm like, we cannot fool Mother Nature. Goathead Garden says, I just saw that you went live and I'm just playing with my plants, so I checked in. Well, I appreciate that. I love that you're playing with plants. I love my plants too. So I hope they're all doing well. And thank you. Yes, I'm glad you're here too. Yes, and listening while you play with plants. That's probably my favorite thing. My favorite way to listen to podcasts, and people like myself, is just to put it on and listen, and then come over. And I like commenting. I like getting into the comment section and hanging out with everybody. So, all right. So that is our intro. And as we get into, so now we're going to move into our nervous system regulation. And in this, I'm going to go through a cascade of how stress actually affects your body. It's really cool. And it's things that people don't even think about. And, I always talk about the saber-toothed tiger. If you've been here before, if you're new, I always talk about the saber-toothed tiger. And if you're wondering what's the saber-toothed tiger, hang on, I'm going to get there. So in nervous system regulation, we have to lay out, first of all, what the nervous system is, what it does for us, and, how it keeps us alive, how it keeps us healthy and happy. And then what do we do to what are the things that we can be doing on a daily basis to help protect our nervous system, to make sure that we're not succumbing to stress and anxiety and all of these crazy things in the world that we just run around and we're just go constantly. Okay. Ghetto Hippie says that almost was a Freudian slip. What did I say? I mean, I mean, a lot of times it's not almost for me. It's like, yeah, I do have to catch myself every now and then. Okay. So when we start talking about the nervous system, the thing to start to recognize is that the nervous system dysregulation is one of the biggest drivers of fatigue, brain fog, poor quality sleep, mood swings, anxiety, depression, chronic inflammation, hormonal imbalances. The nervous system is watching over everything. So people tend in today's world, they feel wired but tired. They're overwhelmed. We're foggy. We can't think clearly. We get a lot of tension in the neck and the shoulders. And then oftentimes people will say, I just don't feel like myself. I don't feel, or, I'm snippy, I'm snappy. I have a short fuse. So typically that's like your foot is stuck on the gas. That is your nervous system stuck in stress mode. And oftentimes people think, well, yes, I have a lot of stress, but, I'll just eat better. But typically, what do? When you're stressed out? You are pretty much commonly going for comfort foods. Often people stress eat, and that's a no bueno. We have to start really thinking about, okay, let's put good fuel into our bodies to help our brains regulate through this time. Oh my gosh. Hold on. Oh my gosh. Hold on. I'm so sorry. Come here. He's very friendly.
I was going to say something about ladies always grabbing the Haagen-Dazs from the fridge and stress eating.
I didn't realize he got up. Okay. What's that?
I was saying most ladies grab Haagen-Dazs, don't they?
Yeah. Thank you. I know. I think yeah. Yes. Yeah. You stay there, mister. Thank you. Have a good day. Okay. No, stay there. Stay.
I think Paul is having way too much fun. I think that was a little bit of stress, and I was saying that most ladies don't grab the Haagen-Dazs, for stress eating.
Yes. Where's my Haagen-Dazs? That dang dog. He was running after I saw this phone call coming from Seattle, Washington, and I was like, "What is that?" And then it shows you the voice message, and it says, "Hi, this is so and so from Amazon. I'm trying to deliver a package, and your dog is in the yard barking at me." And I'm like, "You shit!" Like it. And he's just gonna lick her, but she doesn't know that.
Well, yeah, that's stress. She just went through a stress event.
She went through stress. I went through stress. So what a great example, because we don't think about things like that. Thank you, Ken, for chiming in on that, because it's so true. Oftentimes we're like, what stress? I'm not under stress. No, it's shit like that. When you're like, I'm sitting here and I'm trying to be regulated and teach and keep a smile on my face. And then I got the darn dog. That's stress. Let's not mistake it for anything else. So, okay. All right. Now I have to, now where was I? Completely lost where I was at. Okay, hold on. I had some notes up here. I was going through my notes. Give me a second to re-regulate, get my brain back. Okay. So we talked about, yes, under stress. Oftentimes we stress eat. We go for the Haagen-Dazs. Deep chocolate peanut butter. That was always my favorite. I think they stopped making that one. So you can say, oh, I'm stressed out, but I'll eat clean. And typically you don't, because historically or genetically, stress means your body is not safe and you have to run from danger. And when you have to run from danger, you need calories. And so oftentimes stress eating stress forces us to eat things that aren't good for us because it's just looking for fuel. So it does not matter. I mean, typically you were supposed to be running from the saber-toothed tiger to save your life. So your body's your brain is telling you, hey, we need calories. And so it doesn't care that you're just going to go sit on the couch. It still thinks that you have to run to save your life. So it's really interesting how, there's a word I'm looking for and I can't think of it. I'll think of it. Anyway, it's interesting how your brain works, your nervous system works, how it's these sort of like below the surface things that your brain and nervous system do. And I'm going to lay that out for you so you can see, there's a lot of things that you don't realize what your nervous system does for you. You can work out, but then we have workouts. We're going to get into this a little bit later. You go and you like do some really super hard workout and CrossFit and high intensity and you're like running. Well, that puts you even more stress. You're like, oh, I'll take extra stress supplements, or I can't sleep. Oh, I've been so stressed out all day. I'll take some extra melatonin at night. No, you can't. You can't out supplement it. You can't outwork out it. You can't out eat clean it. Like it's when your nervous system is dysregulated, you have to do some very specific things to help it regulate. So we're going to get into that. But before we do, I have to tell you the importance of your nervous system is that it is the very first thing that forms in utero. So it's called the neural tube. It's sort of the precursor to the nervous system. And the neural tube forms so that the brain and the spinal cord can form so that it can control and coordinate everything else. Most people don't really understand that. So a sperm and an egg come together, the neural tube forms, that then forms the brain and the spinal cord so that it can then control and coordinate all of this. I mean, just land on that for a minute. How incredible that is, literally miraculous, that most of the humans come out with 5 fingers and 5 or 10 fingers and 10 toes and eyes and nose, ears, everything's in the right place. So really important to recognize that, which then should give you that little bit more of a, oh yeah, I guess I should take better care of my nervous system. Like we don't think about taking care of our nervous systems like we think of, skin care or, exercise or eating healthy. We don't think of it as it is really something that's foundational to what our nervous system does. So I'm just going to go through a list of some of the things that your nervous system does that it's doing constant and continuously. Go ahead. Yeah. See, mind blown. I know. Mind blown for sure. No, I'm not thinking of fight or flight. I'm thinking of, I'm going to put this out there. Okay. So when I go through the saber-toothed tiger example, one of you guys is going to give me the word. I know the word, I just can't think of it. And so that was a time, and it's the word I'm thinking of is not genetically, but it's like something within our human existence, within our genetics. There's a word that says that as humans, this is like fundamental to us as humans. So I don't know if that helps.
Instinct?
No, it's not instinct. I know. Let's keep going.
I'll
It sounds like, yeah. Once somebody, I'll be like, yes, that's the word I'm thinking of. Okay. Goathead says handled like a champ. Thank you guys. I know at least you could hear the chaos too, right? So you were all with me like, what's going on? Is she okay? It's what's happening. So I got 2 big boxes out there. I'm kind of excited. It's like Christmas. Not placebo. No, it's a word that somehow means innately, inherently inside of us as humans, but the word's not genetic, but it goes back into developmentally, it's something like that. Somebody's going to get it. Yes, the body is an amazing creation, not instinctively, not innately. No, keep going though. Keep going. All right. I'll come back to comments in a minute. Let me stay in my notes here for a second. Okay. So the nervous system, it not only digests your food, but when you eat something, you have, so let's just talk about, I don't know, I just ate dinner. So whatever you just ate, before you even put food in your mouth, when you think of food, your mouth starts to release enzymes and additional saliva, because it knows it's going to have to start breaking things down at the mouth. So just the thought of food starts this process in the mouth. And think about that. How many times has somebody said something about some kind of food you love and your mouth starts to water? That is your nervous system. It's your nervous system preparing. Just the thought, the conversation about food. You may have just eaten lunch or dinner and somebody says something about, some amazing food or dessert or something. And you're like, oh my God, my mouth just watered thinking of that. So, or like when somebody brings up something about like something citrusy and you go, oh, has that ever happened to you where your saliva glands suddenly, they start preparing. There's like this sudden surge of saliva for the citrus that you're about to eat. So that's all nervous system. So it starts there. Then the food comes in your mouth. Now you have the additional enzymes and the additional saliva. You chew. So you're breaking down the food. The enzymes help to break it down as well as the mastication or the active chewing. And then you swallow it. And then there's a process. When you swallow food, the nervous system everywhere. So from your throat, through your stomach, all the way through the gut tube, there's this thing called peristalsis. And it's going like this. It's moving food through. So it does this little pumping action. So it squeezes here and then here and then here and then here and then here. The food has to get through somehow. So you don't even know that your intestines are doing this to squeeze food all the way through. So so think about that, because your body's like, oh yeah, we have to get this food through. We have to get it down. Then down here, there's a flap, and that flap opens. And the flap, because the stomach is there. This is how your stomach acid stays in your stomach, is that the flap is closed. Now, I did a whole segment on reflux, so I might hit on this in a second, but let me go with my thought here. Is that the flap stays closed. When you eat, now suddenly the flap is like, food's coming. Flap opens, food goes into the stomach, and once it starts to churn and get to a certain pH in the stomach, and now that pH didn't get there by accident, that pH got there because the brain said, hey, there's food coming down. We got to get these acid pumps to pump out more hydrochloric acid so that we can break this food down. And then the stomach goes churn. So the stomach has this peristaltic effect as well. And then again, you have the acid in the stomach breaking down the food. And then when it gets to a certain level of pH, the flap up here, it closes because it's like, oh, well, we can't let food go back up here. And then when it gets to a certain pH, it opens the flap down below so that food can go out through. I mean, you guys just think about how insanely innate, just the innate intelligence, like insanely intelligent intelligence I'm not even speaking that correctly, but you get where I'm going. Like it's mind-blowing to think of all these processes that just take place, and we just take it for granted every time we sit down to eat, and eating is just, one thing. And of course, I'll just say that what people who have reflux, I'll address that because somebody's probably going to ask the question. When you have reflux, it means you don't have enough acid in your stomach to allow that flap to get a signal to close. Flap stays open. And so you get acid coming up. You take more acid blockers. You can't break your food down properly. It's a whole cascade of a shit show that happens digestively. We don't have enough time in this show to get into that, but there is I did a whole episode on gallbladder. I've done multiple episodes on digestion that address that. I do want to say that really quickly. So you start thinking about that. Now it breaks it down. Now it starts to go into the small intestines or into the duodenum, and then each part of the intestines has different pHs. So it goes from acid to alkaline to acid to alkaline. It just keeps making these changes. And then there's certain bacteria in different parts of the gut to help, again, bacteria and enzymes. And then once it gets to a certain point, the pancreas is like, hey, we got some enzymes over here to give you too. And so then the pancreas excretes enzymes to help to break down the food. And all of that breakdown allows for the food to get broken down into macro and micronutrients. So that's proteins, fats, carbohydrates, and then vitamins and minerals, to keep it simply. So if it can get broken down into those tiny particles, then your body then absorbs them appropriately. People who have leaky gut don't have proper absorption pathways. They don't have proper digestive function. Oh, I forgot about the gallbladder and the liver. It's all in there. So people who have leaky gut, they literally have like holes in their gut. So it allows for absorption of food particles, not these broken down nutrients. That drives inflammation in the bloodstream. So now we have more inflammation because then the nervous system's like, hey, we shouldn't have a peanut butter and jelly sandwich floating through our bloodstream here. That's a foreign agent. And so it forms an assault on it. And it starts to bring in inflammatory markers because it's like, that's foreign. We have to wall that off. And so that will drive inflammation. So people who have leaky gut, any type of digestive issues, excess bloating, excess belching, any kind of any digestive issue, gallbladder, pancreatic issue, if you're on any kind of medication, if you're on acid blockers, if you get reflux, I mean, there's, again, like just go watch some other videos on that. But the whole point is that you can see how it's all driven by the nervous system. So, all right, before I come back to comments, let me get back to here because I did kind of go off on a little tangent, but I think that was important to understand just the design, this like intelligent design of our body. So we had regulating the pH, controlling the blood sugar. So again, pancreas will excrete enzymes. And then, of course, it will help control blood sugar. It excretes insulin, and insulin then balances your blood sugar and helps drive blood sugar into wherever it needs to go. It manages hormones. It coordinates your immune function. So that's where also like autoimmune issues come from. So if you have chronic peanut butter and jelly sandwiches getting absorbed into your bloodstream and the body's like, this is inflammation, we don't know what it is. And then it starts attacking it. And then that starts to form these autoimmune. So like your immune system goes on hyper alert and then it starts attacking the body. So it doesn't, the body doesn't attack itself for no reason. It attacks itself because it looks like there's something foreign there. And so the idea is that we have to fix the gut. We have to fix this absorption. We have to fix all these different pathways. And when we do that, we can start to see a resolution in autoimmune issues. So it regulates inflammation. It controls heart rate and breathing and maintains posture and movement. So think about this. I'm sitting up here. Ken's sitting in front of his computer. And my brain is telling my body to sit upright so that I don't sit here and flop over. So things that happen under the surface. Then I want to go back real quick to controlling the immune system, controlling immune function. I might insert an episode because I got 7 weeks on this series, but because it's spring and we're going to get into spring allergies, I might insert an episode on immune function because the immune system is incredible. And I think it's important to recognize how your immune system works instead of just reaching for sinus medication and antihistamines and trying to live on those because they cause far more damage. They might help your symptom at the time, but they cause far more damage to your digestion, your brain, your nervous system, and it never brings you out of the cycle of allergies. So I feel like, and if you feel like that's, if you feel like you're thinking, yeah, I think I would like to know that because I don't want to do 7 weeks of this and then get to allergies because then, anybody who's listening to this who needs help with allergies, they may have already then gone through the process. So I don't know. Leave me a comment. Let me know what your thoughts are on that. Okay, so now let's talk about what is the nervous system. Okay, Ken, so you can bring up that first graphic. Okay, so this is the pink areas. The pink is your brain, And then you can see the spinal cord coming down. Okay. That's called your central nervous system. Think of that as like the command center. And so it controls and it coordinates everything. And the neural tube was literally like, it's like a stripe that forms. And so you can see like it's like a stripe. So it follows suit there. Then we have, thanks for joining there, Go Ahead Gardens, new member. Congratulations. And then you see the blue lines. So those are all the nerves that come off of the spinal cord that go to to all your different extremities, that goes into your heart, your lungs. And that's called your peripheral nervous system. So it's out in the periphery. So for example, people who have sciatic pain, which is pain down the leg, it's coming from the lower back, the lower part of the spine. People who have carpal tunnel, it's nerve impingement in the neck, and it goes down into the arm. Okay. So when there's referred pain from the nervous system, you'll typically feel it somewhere in the extremities. And then the next one, you can pull up the next graphic, Ken. The next graphic, this is called, this would be your enteric nervous system. And the enteric nervous system is all of your organs in the body. So the nerves that go to your eyes, your thyroid, your heart, your lungs, your stomach, your spleen, your pancreas, your reproductive organs, your liver, your gallbladder. That's all your, so it says autonomic nervous system, and also considered the enteric nervous system. And we're going to talk about the autonomic nervous system here in a second. But I wanted to show you that picture that shows that the nerves are attached to all of these things. So for example, I have patients that come in, they have lazy eyes, and they'll come in and they'll go, oh God, yeah, my eye's getting bad, I need an adjustment. Well, the optic nerve goes straight back, and it goes right into the brainstem. So when you get adjusted, especially in the upper cervical, you're going to create better balance, and it helps to re-regulate your sight and any of that stray movement. So okay, Ken, you can take that down there. Okay. So we have our central nervous system, our peripheral nervous system, and then in the peripheral nervous system, we have the somatic nervous system. So that's, I need to reach over and pick this glass up and take a drink. So these are voluntary movements. And then the autonomic nervous system is everything we don't think about. And that's where that's where all our organs come from as well. Like, so all the things like you don't have to think about blood sugar regulation. You don't have to think about your heart beating or your lungs breathing. That all happens automatically. So in the autonomic nervous system, in this automatic part of the nervous system, this is really where we're going to focus today. So we have the sympathetic, which is fight or flight. I think most people have heard of fight or flight. That's, and this is where the saber-toothed tiger jumps from the brush and you have to run. Okay. You have to, what is it? Fight, flight, or flee, or freeze. Fight, flight, or freeze. Some people freeze. So then you're going to get eaten by the tiger. All right. And then we have parasympathetic. Well, that's rest, digest, and heal. That's hopefully when we lay down to go to sleep at night, we can go into rest and digest and calm. But the problem is we spend most of our days in this fight or flight part of our nervous systems. And so when we do that, we are, we're in this chronic state of stress that causes a tremendous amount of health detriments. So now I'm going to step over and I'm going to go through, and actually, you know what, Ken, I wonder if I can send this to you real quick. I don't know if I know how to do that. Can I drop that in the, no, I can't. Or can I share my screen? Let me see here.
You can share your screen.
Okay, let me see. Let's see if I can do this.
I know you can do it. You can do
right?
it.
can do it. I can do it. Let's see. Right, there it is. Okay. Oh my goodness. My goodness. Okay. Can you guys see this? Ken, can you see that? I got a Word document up there. Stop.
You need to hit add to stage on that bottom.
Oh, right. Okay, hold on. Oh my. Just going out of his mind. No, you're not going outside.
But mom, it's flight or fight. Okay, I want to go fight.
Remove other media before. Oh, those are his friends too. Two Bernese mountain dogs. Oh, he is just losing his mind. Okay. Before presenting, remove other media streams from the stage. So I think you got to take that one
there
down.
We go.
Okay, there we go. Okay, good. Okay, hold on. Let me let him out. I know. Okay.
It's his instinctual reaction that I want to go out because there's somebody there.
Yes. His friends are walking by. Okay. Here we go. Oh my goodness. Gracious. Okay. Okay. I'm going to make my screen a little bigger there, and then I'll come back to the comments after this. So I'll go through this, and then we'll go through comments, and then I'm going to talk about, well, what do we do about it? Because I never want to leave you guys without a solution for anything that we discuss. I just like to lay out what the problem is, how it affects you, and then give you some very tangible, actionable things that you can do for that. So, all right. So now we are in, Ken, I can't scroll that. Let me see if I can scroll it here.
You have to scroll it on your other screen or
Oh, got it. Okay, thank you. All right, let's see. Right. Got it. Okay. All right. We'll get there. All right, so you're out, you're walking on the prairie, and life is great. The sun is shining, the birds are singing, you're smelling the flowers, you're just strolling along, everything is just fine. You're calm, you're relaxed, you have happy thoughts going through your head, and here comes the saber-toothed tiger out of the brush. Okay, so now this is where we get fight, or freeze. So hopefully we're gonna flight. Okay. So here's what happens is we get these modern stressors. So we have so these are the decisions we get into, our bodies start to go into, okay, how do I save my life? So let's just think about that. I'm not safe. What do I need to do to save my life? Well, what does this look like in everyday life? It looks like work and relationships, finances, deadlines. Your kid forgot their soccer shoes. The dog is attacking the Amazon driver. These are all modern stressors of life. So modern stressors don't have to be major things like a job loss or a divorce. Kid goes off to college. So it doesn't have to be that kind of thing. It's these little daily things that we deal with that we become very, I'll say, numb to, almost like we don't recognize them as actually affecting our health in the way that when I lay this out to you, you're going to go, oh yeah, you're going to start to see things in your health. And then also, again, we had a live demonstration of stress here. So again, work, finances, deadlines, but the body can't tell the difference between the emotional stress and the real danger. It just senses danger. So we get the hypothalamus is in the brain. It sends signals to the adrenal glands. Now, your adrenal glands is what releases adrenaline. We've all heard of that, where adrenaline is what allows the mother to pick the car up off her child. Okay, so that's what gives people superhuman strength. And so we get this massive rush of adrenaline, cortisol, which, cortisol is what our body releases to wake up in the morning. So cortisol is not bad. Adrenaline's not bad. Adrenaline is, there's still a little bit of that going on throughout the day, keeps us awake. So it's not like just in day to day, if we haven't had the saber-toothed tiger jumping out at us, we're not going to have cortisol and adrenaline. We are, you think I had a little adrenaline when I had to run to the front door? I had a little spike in cortisol, could affect my sleep tonight. We'll see how that goes. So this gives you that burst of energy to run or fight. Now, before I go into the next section, because I realized too that there's a couple of things missing from here. I think, yeah. So this is also where your body needs to prepare to run. So now let's say you were just sitting under a tree before all this happened and you just ate a sandwich. Do you think your nervous system is concerned about digesting that sandwich? Or do you think it's going to shove blood into the extremities to give you as much strength to run? Okay, so doesn't care about digesting the sandwich. If you had a little sniffle, you had a cold or a cough, it's going to push the immune system down. The immune system requires so much energy. And so it's going to push the immune system down so that it can then give you more energy to be able to run and save your life. It's really just concerned about saving your life at this point. So you don't get the same level of immune support. You don't get the same level of digestive support. We also have a release of glycogen from the liver. So glycogen is what your body then converts into glucose, which then gives you more, just think of like it's going to raise blood sugar to give you more energy to run. Well, so now let's think about this for a minute. Oh, okay. And then we have your blood's pumping more blood. Your blood pressure goes up because it has to pump more blood. So now we have increased blood pressure. We have increased blood sugar. We have decreased digestive function. You're not going to be able to do math problems. That part of the brain, the frontal lobe, is now shut down because now we're going into the parts of our brain that are more primitive. Primitive. That was the word I was trying to think of earlier. Okay. Thank you. Primitive. So we go to the more primitive parts of our brain so that, again, we can run and save our lives. But think about this. How many people today have digestive issues, immune problems, reproductive problems? You'd think your body wants to carry a baby when it doesn't feel safe. We've got infertility is through the roof. And, our bodies are just under a massive amount of stress. So we get energy that's diverted away from healing, detox, and hormone. And so all of our hormones get disrupted. Our fertility takes a hit because the body doesn't want a baby during war. Now let's think about this too. We have increase in cholesterol, especially our LDL or our bad cholesterol. This is the one I find the most amazing. So prepare to be mind blown again. The LDL, or the bad cholesterol, as most people will call it. So there's HDL and LDL. There's a bunch of different cholesterols, but we'll focus on those two for a second. So HDL, they call it your good cholesterol. LDL is called your bad cholesterol. They're not bad, but neither, they're both good. Let's just call them both good. It's just a matter of what ratios they are in. Well, when you're under stress, you get an increase in LDL cholesterol because LDL is thick and it clots fast. So think about if the tiger reaches out and slices your arm open and you finally make it up the tree, you're going to want to be able to clot, to heal and clot that blood faster so you don't bleed out. And again, just think of how just our body's brilliance to be able to do that. It's amazing to me. And that's all driven by your nervous system. So bad cholesterol is not bad. But then again, let's add to that. How many people are walking around with jacked up cholesterol levels that are on cholesterol medication? And again, the high blood pressure and they're diabetics and they're on metformin or they're taking insulin, or I mean, it's crazy. So you start to see the picture of the everyday human in this, and just because of, and I apologize, I probably should have pulled some numbers about how many people are on high blood pressure medication, cholesterol medication, diabetics, all of that. But I wanted to give you this overarching view of what really happens metabolically in the body. And so, this is really where, if we start to just look at, oh, wow, geez, my body's doing so much. My nervous system's caring for so much, and I don't even really realize it. So chronic cortisol leads to long-term damage. This is where we get adrenal fatigue. So not just chronic fatigue syndrome, but just daily cycles of fatigue and insomnia down there. So we get these fluctuations in our sleep cycles. We can't sleep. We have that 2 a.m. wake up because our adrenal glands think that we're supposed to have a party at 2 o'clock in the morning because they've been so dysregulated all day long that they don't know when to fire properly. So we get that 2 a.m. wake up. It takes about 2 hours for cortisol to leave your system. And so, yeah, you're getting your best sleep by about 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. We get gut dysfunction, anxiety, mood swings, estrogen dominance, cycle irregularities, low libido. Again, low libido. How many people are walking around with low libido? We have, I don't know what the numbers are for women, but the numbers for men are 40% of men under 40 and 50% of men over 50 have erectile dysfunction. That is an absolute stress driven. It's also toxic load driven, but it's a very stress driven issue here. So, you're not going to want to have sex when you need to save your life. So that's what drives our hormones down as well. And then of course, blood sugar instability. So that's our cascade, our stress cascade of what happens. Close that out there. What happens when we're under this chronic state of stress. So that's that. Okay. So now we've laid that out. Now that we've laid that out, we're going to talk about all the ways that we can get our nervous systems back on track. Now that we recognize, you start to see the picture and you're going, oh yeah, maybe I am a little stressed out. Or, and again, not to say stressed out, like we don't all have to be walking around stressed out to experience stress again, hence as we had our live example. Thank you, Bentley, for giving us the live example. So, all right, I'm going to read through some comments because you guys got some good comments in here as well. Lily says the inheritance of social behaviors like conformism and tribalism and environmental or epigenetic factors influence health. Yeah, I mean, think about, gosh, you think of social behaviors. You talk to people who were raised in families like mine, we always ate healthy. And then I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday who said, oh yeah, his their food was peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and hot dogs is what he was raised on because, his parents didn't know how to cook. So it's very much, there's definitely some social issues there. And I don't know if that's a social issue, but family issues, just lack of knowledge. Ghetto Hippie says the depth of the engineering of the body for its proper functioning. It's crazy. It's the most incredibly engineered thing on planet Earth and maybe on other planets. Coined by chiropractic founder D.D. Palmer, it is defined as the wisdom that exists within every living thing from birth to death. Yes, innate intelligence. We live and die by that creed of innate intelligence. Thank you for posting that, Lily. It's pretty incredible when you think about, what D.D. Palmer did and how he was able to birth this incredible profession that helps get people well without drugs and surgery. When nerve communication is interrupted by spinal subluxations, the body's innate intelligence cannot properly heal or maintain health. Absolutely. And so we call that nerve interference, and that can be from chemical, physical, or emotional traumas that affect the nervous system. And it dampens the signals from the brain through the nervous system to the body. And it's like trying to read a book in the dark. So you don't have the proper messaging. And so chiropractic, which that's great. Thank you so much for posting those, Lily, because our first thing we're going to talk about is how chiropractic actually helps to, it's the number one thing for nervous system dysregulation. But I also recognize that we have stress on a daily basis. And so you're not going to go to the chiropractor every day. So I have to give you tools and things that you can utilize in your daily lives so that you feel like, okay, I got this. And then you go see your chiropractor every week. The concept consists of 3 elements: intelligent, force, energy, and matter, the physical body. Dr. Erica and I, last year, maybe a year and a half ago, no, we may have started our podcast, Chiropractic is Sexy, on the 33 principles of chiropractic. So we laid out 33 of our episodes talk about each principle of chiropractic. And so we read the principle of chiropractic and then we dive into it and we tell stories and what does it mean. So it's a really great series. I encourage you to go check it out. That graphic, it was this. So when the sperm and the egg come together, that forms what's called the neural tube. And the neural tube, then that's the precursor for the brain and the spinal cord, which then controls and coordinates everything else to form in utero. And yes, Lily, everything is connected. Yeah, he's barking. No, it was another delivery. It's just more, just more friends. And thank you we love dogs on the channel. I know, I appreciate it so much. I've been on episodes where, people have had to get up and deal with their dogs or their kids. And I'm like, I don't know. It's like, oh, okay, good. It makes people human, I think. And I think it makes it fun. And it certainly makes it relatable, doesn't it? So yeah, man's best friend. And yes, love it. So organic. It sure is. Let's see. Overload of cortisol is bad. Yeah. So just like anything else. And that's why too, if we can regulate our cortisol and the release of cortisol, our bodies will be better off for it. Ghetto Hippie says law of diminishing utility. I don't know what that means, but you could probably help me define that. Yes. Primitive was the word I was looking for. It usually comes to the front. And Lily says, interesting, never thought of how your body is affected by stress in the short and long term. Right. Which is why, I really wanted to bring this out to everybody, because you'll start to think about it. You go, oh man, it just had no idea. So yes, the mind blown. All right. And Goat Herd says, do you think it's just because men want little blue pills? It's the fact that we have a little blue pill that's being utilized at the level it is. Again, my goal of this channel is my goal of this channel is to help people understand and ask the question, why? Okay. If you have erectile dysfunction, the answer isn't a little blue pill. You have to ask yourself, why is this happening? How do I fix my body? I mean, we didn't have erectile dysfunction to the level that we do today 20 years ago. So it's really important to start asking the why so that we can fix the body, because again, just taking more pills isn't necessarily going to solve the problem. It isn't going to solve the problem at all. I mean, if you want to take a little blue pill, that's great. But what is that ultimately doing in the long run for you? It's not healing anything. It might give you great sex for a night. But don't forget, if you have an erection for over 4 hours, you should seek medical help. Goathead Garden says, I love going to the chiropractor. Awesome. We love having you. That's great. Yes, it does. It feels so amazing. I got my adjustment yesterday. Chiropractic visits made all the difference in my life journey. I love that, Lily. I love when you're just You're just such a great advocate for chiropractic. Goathead says, I wish I could have married one. I know, me too. I'm always like I'm like the circus act everywhere I go. I was like, she's a chiropractor. Can you adjust everybody? Or whenever I go somewhere like a family reunion, I'm like, I'm standing there with, a line of family waiting to get adjusted. I'm like, who's going to adjust me when all this is done? I have SI pain, and getting cracked releases the stress. Ghetto Hippie says too much of a good thing is a bad thing. The law of diminishing utility. Got it. Yeah. Right. When did I do moderation is bullshit? I think I did that at the beginning of the year, and I talked about moderation as bullshit. So even a little bit of even moderate things, doing tiny bits of things over and over again, even if it's a different tiny thing every day, can be bad, unless it's something like walking and moving and breathing. So it depends on where we want to go with that. So Lily says the best partners if you're single and looking is a chiropractor, massage therapist, chef. Yes. Housekeeper. Yeah. Ghetto Hippie. No, the cough button is not working now. I realized, I don't know for how many weeks I've been coughing in your faces thinking I was muting it from my microphone. So I now realize I just have to click it on the screen. So yeah. So anyway, Go Head Garden says, yes, please. I'm assuming you're talking about finding yourself a chiropractor, massage therapist, and a chef. And I seem well-adjusted enough. Thank you. I appreciate that. I try to go every week. Had a little extra tension today, though. I kind of wish I could have gone back today. All right. So now we got through the comments. Thank you for your great comments. We talked about what it means. We talked about that 2 a.m. wake up. You can't shut your brain off. That wiry brain, that brain chatter is what I call it. So you can't turn your brain off at night. You can't recover from injuries, or even, let's say, like workouts. You go do a workout and you're sore for more days than you probably should be. Again, signs that I like to use the word signal instead of signs or symptoms, because I think signals give us a better way of thinking about what's happening to our body. If you're irritable, if you're overwhelmed, you can't think clearly, it's all things that your nervous system is trying to handle. So what we do want, so I'm not going to talk about diet in this, because I've done so many videos on food, proper foods and nutrients. So what I really want to focus on is all of the different ways you can regulate your nervous system aside from diet. All right. So chiropractic care is the first thing, and that's your foundation, because your spine protects your nervous system. This is why chiropractors exist. The spine protects the nervous system when there's tension along the spine, and that causes restriction. So let's just think about tension in your neck. That interferes with communication. So I have a lot of tension in my neck right now because I've been taking handgun training. And so I was 3 hours standing on a concrete floor with my earmuffs on. They press against my head. It's very, it's intense. Certainly I'm in an environment where I'm not in rest, digest, and repair. Yesterday, so I went to yoga yesterday, and then after yoga, I went and I got adjusted, but then I met my daughter downtown, and we went to it was called the Totally Rad Vintage Festival. You guys, I've never seen so many t-shirts in my life. I'm like, so you just get a bunch of old t-shirts and then you just like put them on a hanger and charge $20 for them. And okay. And anyway, so hard concrete floor, the music's blasting because it's all like kids my daughter's age. Music's blasting. I'm starving. And finally I tell my daughter, I said, if I don't get out of here, I'm gonna lose my shit. So I was so hungry. I hadn't eaten. My feet were screaming. My brain was just on overload. So then I went and I met a friend last night, or had dinner with my daughter, and then went out and saw a friend play in his band for like an hour. But then this morning, I did that for 3 hours. So again, I'm like, I'm feeling some tension. So I'm going to regulate my nervous system by resting after this. So besides that, let's go back over here. I'll get back into my notes here. All right. So chiropractic care helps restore motion, but when we restore motion, we're improving that communication. So I mentioned earlier, it's like sitting in a room with the lights off and trying to read a book. I don't have the communication. I don't have the light coming in for me to see the words to understand what I'm supposed to be reading. And that's what chiropractic helps to restore. It turns the lights on. It turns the power on to the brain, to the nervous system, to the stomach, the digestive organs, the reproductive organs, the heart, the lungs. It just helps everything have a better communication. And when you have better communication in your body's self-healing and self-regulating and adapting to life and everything life throws at us is much greater. And the reason that when we say, people say, once you go to the chiropractor, I don't want to go to the chiropractor because once you go, you have to go forever. Well, we have all these daily stressors. It's going to affect the nervous system. So why would we not keep our nervous systems in optimal performance so that we can handle all the daily stressors? And most of the time people recognize that once they start going to the chiropractor, if they're one of those people, once they start going, they start to feel so amazing. They start to regulate better. They start to adapt better. They think more clearly. They're relating to people more, much more better. Ignore my grammar today. They sleep better. Their relationships improve. Like they're calmer. They're better to deal with. They're more fun to be around. Like it's crazy all the things that people tell you being under chiropractic care, how it affects their lives. In addition to, oh my gosh, it cleared up my sinus issues. It cleared up my headaches. It cleared up my digestive issues. It's that kind of stuff. But for me, the life effect of it just made you a better human. Made you a better human? Wow. Okay. Your wife's not going to divorce you now because you were being such an a-hole because you were in so much pain and now you feel incredible. Great. All right. Chiropractic saves marriages. So perfect. So people who are under chiropractic care really notice a multitude of things. And that's where you should turn into Chiropractic is Sexy on Thursdays, where that's literally all we talk about is chiropractic and life and all the different ways that chiropractic helps people. And Dr. Erica and I talk to you just straight from our adjusting tables. And we just share our stories of, I'm 28 years in practice. She's 20 some odd years in practice. She just celebrated an anniversary. I got an anniversary coming up in a week and a half or so. So yeah, lots of wisdom on that show. All right. So daily nervous system reset tools. What are the things that you all can be doing? Because again, I recognize that things like this are going to happen every day. You can't be going to the chiropractor every day. What are you going to do at home or at work? There's so many deep breathing techniques out there. Now, you can go on YouTube and you can pull up guided meditations. You can pull up guided breathing. There's a multitude of different types of deep breathing. Do I have a favorite? No. Actually, my favorite is being in a hot yoga class. That's, I get an hour of breath work, movement, balance, coordination, mindset. That's my Zen moment. So I'm not here to go through all the different kinds of deep breathing techniques. You guys can look that stuff up. Find something that you like. Find something you'll remember to do. Because again, this is part of it where I've taught deep breathing exercises. Nobody remembers it. Nobody remembers what, when you teach a specific form of breath work, nobody remembers that. But you know what they do remember? And I couldn't find my balloons here. And I've talked about this before. Everybody remembers what it was like to blow up a balloon when they were a kid. So if you can get yourself a balloon, keep a balloon on your desk, keep a balloon at your house, keep a balloon, keep balloons everywhere. And anytime you feel like, oh my gosh, I can't think clearly, or blow up a balloon before you go to bed. If you're having trouble sleeping in the middle of the night, reach over, grab the balloon, blow up that balloon. What that does is it interrupts that nervous system pattern. And so if you think about blowing up a balloon, it's that sharp increase, and it's a deliberate stretch, like you're really forcing air into your lungs, and then it's a pause. So it's like a 1 to 2 second hold, and then in this slow, deliberate exhale. And you are exhaling, and you are using your lungs, and you're squeezing, and you're pushing all that air out. That is nervous system regulation. That is taking you from fight or flight to rest, digest, and repair. That specific breathing pattern. So we can all remember what it's like to blow up a balloon. We all know how to blow up a balloon. If you can just whittle it down to that simply, give it to your teenager. If your teenager's being extra bitchy, tell them to blow up the balloon. Okay. I can't guarantee it'll work on teenagers, but it might. So that's my favorite one to teach, because it's easy. People remember it. I usually, and I'm actually giving a presentation on Wednesday, I'm talking about nervous system regulation. So this was actually timely today. And I talk about birthdays. So I make the whole workshop about a birthday, because again, we think of birthdays and we think of being surrounded by people that we love and happiness, and I make each person in the room, I make them the birthday person, and I have them think about their favorite cake, and it's got the candles, and close your eyes and make a wish, and then now I want everybody to take a deep breath and then blow out your imaginary cake. That is nervous system regulation, right? So again, think about it. What do you do when you blow your candles out? You pause, you look at all those lit candles, and you got to figure out where to start. And then and it's a slow, deliberate squeeze of your lungs. So blowing up the balloon, blowing out candles on your cake, but hopefully you're doing that more than once a year. Well, I mean, hopefully you're not eating cake more than once a year, but we can only have our birthdays once a year. So those are a couple of things. And then of course, singing. So I have everybody then sing happy birthday, but put music on, sing. I don't care if you can't hold a tune. You should sing. Anything, humming. That's why also, like gargling, if you have a sore throat, gargling helps. Anything that vibrates down in here, because your vagus nerve starts way up here in the neck, in the brainstem. It's the longest nerve in the body. I did a whole video on the vagus nerve, maybe 2, I don't remember, but it controls and coordinates everything. And that is your rest, digest, and repair. So we want to tap into that. Other things that we can do is take a walk, especially outside. The weather's going to start to turn. I don't know where you live or where you're tuning in from, but we are here just moving into springtime. So getting out, taking a daily walk. I took Bentley to a field today and let him run around. I walked around for a little bit. And so walking is really helpful. I encourage you, if it's during the day, if it's during a work day, whether you work from home or whether you work in an office, is change scenery. Don't sit behind that desk all day. Don't eat lunch at your desk. I often eat my lunch at my desk. However, somewhere in there, so I might stop seeing patients, and then I'll get up and I'll go sit in a different part of my office. If the weather's not good. If the weather's good, I take the dog for a walk in the field behind my office. And I don't put headphones in. So I encourage you, when you go out during the day, take some kind of break. If you work in a building, just go walk around the building. But don't put headphones in. And the reason is because I want you just to, especially once we can get outside, I want you to listen to the sounds of nature. I want you to hear the wind, through your ears. I want you want you to hear your feet move, stepping on the grass. I want you just to experience silence and not have that extra input into your brain. There are a lot of people and they're like, oh, I'm constantly working. I'm constantly getting stuff done. If I go out for a walk, I'm listening to a podcast or I'm listening to this or that. Now, let's say you've got a meeting, you've got a conference call you need to be on. Okay, put the conference call on and go for a walk. I'm not opposed to that. But if you have an opportunity to get out, don't then fill your ears, not even with music. Just stop the stimulus. And you got to think about it that way. Your nervous system needs a break. We have stimulus coming at us from everywhere. And so if we can just have a little bit of respect for what our nervous systems go through on a daily basis. It works hard for us. Okay. So that's our movement. And then with movement though, because I wanted to address, I think that's further down in my, okay. Exercise is great, but think about this. Again, you go to the gym, if I say, what kind of exercise? Do high intensity and I do, CrossFit. I think I mentioned this earlier, is that those are going to keep you in fight or flight. So that's why if you're going to exercise, if you want to bring your nervous system down, that's why walking is going to be a little bit better for you. Some light yoga is going to be a little bit better for you. You've got to balance out your heavy workouts with those light, more rest, digest, repair type exercises. Morning light, really important, especially now it's getting a little warmer here. So I've been able to go sit outside for about 5 minutes when I wake up in the morning. That really sets your circadian rhythm for the day. Evening light does the same thing. If you go sit outside in the evening, you get to start to rest. You get away from all the blue lights. You start to get the different wavelengths of evening. It starts to bring your melatonin levels up so that your body then starts to prepare for sleep. Okay. And then that's just reducing stimulation overall. So less noise, less scrolling, more quiet at night. And as far as eating goes, and again, we're not going to talk about nutrition today, but just slowing down before your meals. Don't eat standing up, sit, take your time. Your digestion needs you to be in a parasympathetic state. If you're eating, like eating and watching TV, be mindful of what is on TV. If you're watching like an action movie or a TV show that has suspense, you're going to flare up your sympathetic nervous system because your brain doesn't know the difference. It's still sensing danger. You're living in that moment. You're living in that TV show. And so it's going to cut down on the acid in your stomach. It's going to start to shut your digestion down. So be super mindful. If you're eating, watching TV, like watch something happy and funny. And, don't get pulled into suspenseful things while you're eating. Put that on after you eat, a little ways after you eat. And then your sleep routine should be consistent, slowing your stimulation at night. So again, the lights, lowering the lights, try not to scroll, is getting a consistent bedtime. Those are all really great ways to regulate. I don't know if I had hydration in here. Nervous system needs hydration. I'm just going to mention that. It's kind of a given. And let me see. So thinking about this, if you have worse sleep, if you're more sore, if you feel like you need caffeine, if you have poor recovery, if you're wiped out after workouts, then that's a huge sign that your nervous system needs to be regulated differently with different levels of movement and exercise. So it's not necessarily more exercise, it's more appropriate exercise that will support your nervous system, not drive it further into fight or flight. So let me scroll down here. Okay. All right. So basically, just keeping in mind, we are not going to heal in survival mode. So we have to get ourselves out of survival mode. And when silly little things happen, like the Amazon person calls you because they're trying to deliver a package and your dog is holding them hostage out front, that's still stress. That's still stress. So we can't avoid it. I know some people like to think they live in a bubble and they're like, I'm never under stress. Yes, you are. Yep, we all are. So, I mean, my daughter was home yesterday and she finally left at about 10 and she was driving to East Lansing, which is like an hour away. That's stressful. It's stressful for a mother, you know. I talked to her most of the way on the phone to make sure she got there safely. So, which was wonderful that she wants to talk to her mother like that. But, you know, the whole thing is like, those are stressful things in life. Anything with our kids, it's stressful. So it's just a matter of how we handle it. Okay, let's get to your questions. And Lily says, I am so grateful. I'm asleep before my head hits the pillow. Always slept well. That is awesome. I know. And not too many people can say that. So many people struggle with sleep disorders today. Once you feel how it helps, you want to keep going. Absolutely. Go ahead, Gardens. And that's really a lot of people. They're like, well, they don't go to the chiropractor because people tell them insane things about chiropractors. Then they finally come because they're desperate. And they're like, I don't know what else to do. I'm going to the crazy chiropractor. And then they do. And they're like, why did I listen to those people? Once you go to a doctor, chances are you're on meds for the rest of your life. Once you get into that system, Lily, it's crazy, isn't it? It's hard to get out. So, and people try, they get into that system and then they try to get out. It is tough. Yes, Lily, chiropractors save marriages and relationships. Yes, ma'am. I had a guy tell me his wife was legit ready to leave him. He didn't realize the level of pain he was in, and he didn't realize how short that fuse was from his pain. So, and thank you for the reminder, Lily. Yes, buy yourself balloons next time you go into Target or any store, Walmart or something. Go buy some balloons, scatter them around the house, around your office, and yes. I was going to say that you're going to get a popped balloon. The other thing too is think about balloons. You blow them up, okay? So you just reset your nervous system, and then you can start patting balloons around the office or around your house or whatever. That's fun too. So just think about like the fun things. Those things help to bring you from that fear, I'm not safe, into levels of joy. And when you can be in a state of joy, you're in a better state of healing. And Lily says, I just learned a lot that I'm going to put into practice. Awesome. I'm so glad. That is why I am here. When I was working retired, I could walk everywhere on my lunch for an hour often. Yes. And that's, I always, once the weather turns and the field dries up, I love it. I'm out there every day with Bentley at lunch. I feel so energized when I'm able to get my lunchtime walk outside in. I don't get this. If I run to the gym at lunch, it's not at all the same. It's being outside, it's being with nature and getting fresh air, all of that. Sunshine and fresh air recharge me for the afternoon. So I feel you, Lily, right there with you. Goathead says, I've always wanted to build my house so I could watch the sunrise in the morning and the sunset at night. It would be perfect, wouldn't it? Yes, that is a good bucket list item for sure. So, all right, you guys. Wow, that was a show. That was a packed show today. The nervous system obviously is my favorite thing to talk about. Next week, we're going to be breaking down GLP-1s and weight loss medications. So you are not going to want to miss that one. We all know someone who is on these medications, if not yourself. This is not going to be just so you know, there's a lot of podcasters that are, judgmental about that. I do have my own thoughts on it. My overall goal is to help people. So if you're on them, I know that there's some things metabolically that need to get handled. So I want to see you successful on those medications. I also have a whole bunch of people who do not want to take them. And so we have to talk about all of that. So we'll talk about weight loss from a metabolic perspective, what happens when you take them, what happens when you don't take them, how to support yourself in either scenario. So be sure you share this out with your friends so that we can continue to get the message of health and wellness out to everyone in the world. So, all right, everybody, I am so grateful for everybody being here and tuning in, and make sure you hit the subscribe and the like button on your way out. And if you're here on the replay, leave a comment. Would love to hear your thoughts on this. Also, please let me know if you think you want that. I'm thinking the allergy show would come maybe even next week. I think that's timely. I think I might have to just interrupt I know I'm like only week 1 of this series, but if next week you see a show on allergies, then you know what I decided, because it's really timely, and it's good to get that message out right now. So, all right, everybody, have an amazing week. I love you all so much for being here. We'll see you on the next one.